But now to the running mates who have supported the candidates from the beginning, their spouses. You saw earlier this morning that I had a chance to talk with Bernie Sanders' wife, Jane, last night. Linsey Davis talked to so many more of the spouses, and so let's go back to Times Square for that.
That's right, Robin. They are the supporters who probably know the candidates best, fair to say, I think. And ABC's Linsey Davis is here to introduce us to some of them.
Yes, really excited about this. It only made sense to talk to them, right? Forget campaign ads or debate sound bites. To really get a sense of the people running for president, we went straight to the source, to their better halves, the people who know their secrets, dreams, and what makes them tick. Take a look at the candidates through the eyes of their spouses, their lifelong running mates. It's been said, you can tell a lot about a person by the company they keep.
He is someone who's clearly smart, but he's also a guy that likes to have fun.
So I was so impressed with her work ethic, with her tenacity.
So perhaps the best way to get a sense of who the presidential candidates are
He's so passionate and compassionate and lots of fun.
is to talk to the people who likely know them best, their spouse, or collectively, their spice.
Don't worry, you've got my vote. And that was the first words that I spoke to Bernie.
I remember meeting him and him saying he was Randy Paul. And I think it was probably our 4th or 5th date. I started calling him Rand, and he liked it.
I called my mother and I said, Mom, this congressman just asked me out to lunch. And she said, oh my goodness, you don't know a thing about current affairs. You need to go get Newsweek magazine right away.
They are their running mates, a concept that for the Christies started way back in student government.
I was his running mate, and he won. And then the following year, I ran for president, and I won.
What made you fall in love with Chris?
He had great stories. He still has great stories. And he was cute. He was cute.
They've seen them at their best.
The first time when he operated on a baby in the womb, that was incredible.
And stood by them in their deepest despair. For Carly and Frank Fiorina, that meant enduring the loss of a 34-year-old daughter to drug addiction.
It was just a bad year. Carly had cancer, 11 operations, chemo, radiation. But when Lori died, you know, it makes everything else in life pale in comparison.
People seem to either love or hate Ted Cruz. Why do you think that he's so polarizing?
If you are not in there trying to fix the problem, you don't like the problem fixer.
For the people who just see Chris Christie and want to say he's a name caller, he's brash, he lacks self-control, how would you help them to see your husband as more presidential?
The handful of name calling that has been caught on video sometimes, there was always a purpose to that.
People that know Carly and I would tell you that we fight all the time. I take no credit for her skills with that exception. I've taught her to debate.
For those who say your husband was a phenomenal surgeon, but that doesn't necessarily prepare you to be president, what would you say to those critics?
Then they haven't looked at what accomplishment really is. What we need is people who know how to really solve problems.
You have a big say in who the nominee is.
He's not a great cocktail party conversationalist, and sometimes in politics that can come off as being perhaps prickly or aloof, but it's more just that he would much rather sit down and have a more one-on-one or substantive conversation.
So while the candidates now woo America, their spouses fondly remember their own courtship and share their partner's greatest asset.
His steadfastness.
Patience.
His sincerity.
Her brain and her ethics.
His optimism.
Smile.
His greatest asset.
Me.
And this is just a small sampling of the interviews that we have online, where you'll find an intimate look at 7 of the candidates and their spouses. You'll be surprised and moved by some of the stories they share. And we have to thank the spouses for the access that they gave us.
Absolutely. What a fantastic series. This is so great, Linsey.
And a way to really get some insight like you haven't seen of the candidates.
I was going to say, you really see the emotion. You see how taxing this journey is, not just for the candidates, but for their significant others also.
And there's so much more to watch. You spent 3 months putting this all together. So to watch the full episodes of our ABC News digital series, Running Mates with Linsey Davis, you can go to our website, goodmorningamerica.com on Yahoo.